So, hello and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Ryan. I'm here with my co host, Josh. We are here to talk football, fantasy, and otherwise. So, man, how was your week?
Week's been pretty good. Unfortunately, had to watch the Ravens get thumped by the Bengals, but besides that,
Yeah.
I went 3-1 in my leagues. I like remembering what it feels like to win.
Yeah. I too went 3-1 in my leagues. And my
So,
one loss, I lost by point zero two. Point
pain.
zero two. It was a painful loss. But it happens. It
I,
happens. It's all in fantasy football.
I
So,
would have to say, I think
but
you and I survived Bipocalypse pretty well.
yes, we did. I had no problem with Bipocalypse. My team scored the highest out of our entire league, almost this whole year. But I think Ethan has me by 2 points in like week four. I think week 4 or 5.
Oh,
He
it was
got
probably a
235. I got 233 this week. So
oof.
I healthily outscored my opponent.
Yeah, unfortunately, I took the loss this week, lost by 8 points. But you know what? I'm starting to get more competitive. I'm starting to score more. I'm starting to see some of the moves I made weeks prior finally start coming to
Yeah.
fruition. So I'm feeling pretty good. Yes, I'm two
Well,
and
and you're going to be
five.
getting,
I'm feeling
yeah.
pretty good. I feel like
And you've got a
it'll
lot of people on your bench that are,
hurt
I think, well, yeah, they're hurt, but I think they're going to come back. So
at
I think
this
you're good.
at this point.
You're
My
just not
bench
this
is the
year.
emergency room.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think you got a lot of people that you can be looking at towards the future, you know, looking at using. So,
So let's
yeah.
get to it. There's quite a bit of news that we have to bring up. Until that trade's official, we're not going to talk about the Deshaun Watson trade. There's just too many hypotheticals at the moment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They got to get all of his legal stuff taken care of
yeah,
and all of that. So, that's
all the all
very,
the all the legal stuff, all the
yeah.
I mean, but even then, no official deal. We don't know what was given up or anything like
Yeah.
that. So we
Yeah. They said they've talked out the details, but they haven't made it public yet.
and even today, Brian Flores said 2021 they're committed to us. So at this point,
Yeah.
we won't talk about it. Maybe off season if that deal is ever finalized, we'll then start
Yeah.
talking about it. But as of right now, we're just not going to do that. But
Yep.
there is a trade I do want to bring up, as you called it, irrelevant. Um, in our meetings off screen, Mark Ingram has been traded to the New Orleans Saints. I really don't know the official deals because really all that matters is the fact that Mark Ingram gets to escape Houston and go to New Orleans,
Yeah. Which is good for him.
which is good for him. I think the main beneficiary of this, in my opinion, is Alvin Kamara fantasy owners. And the
They
reason
would
why
benefit
is
from this.
so here's why. If so, when they were the real 1-2 punch, Kamara was used as a receiving back for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a PPR format, you're gonna like this trade because at this point, considering no Michael Thomas and who knows like which water boy is out there for receiver for the Saints this week, you really I think they're going to rely on two backs basically. So that's why I think you make the trade for Mark Ingram, and Mark Ingram can be out there, and then
I
Alvin Kamara can be your receiving back.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Unfortunately, that does kind of take a blow to Kamara owners though, because he's Ingram's going to be more than likely taking the
The
red
goal line
zone,
work, yeah. So
the
that's
red zone goal line, and he's going to be hawking touchdowns from him. from Kamara, because he's going to get that goal line work and he's going to get more of the rushing work, which
Yeah, yeah.
hurts Kamara in the long run
So I
once he
get
starts getting integrated into the offense.
yeah, so I get that that's gonna happen. I just think if you're gonna basically weigh your options here, I think if 5 carries get turned into 5 more targets for Kamara, I think you're gonna be okay, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's not going
I
to dip
don't,
too much.
yeah, it won't dip too much. I think it's very much a small little thing, but you can start seeing Kamara's points, I think, tick up a little bit more just on based on the scoring format alone. I don't think a lot
Yeah.
of the yardage or anything like that will change, but hey, if he gets 2 or 3 more points, that's going to be huge. You lost by 0.02 this week.
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
so we'll see what happens there. But that's kind of just my initial reaction to that trade.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting to see how he's reintegrated into the offense because, times have changed. They don't have Drew Brees anymore. And, that offense is changing under Jameis Winston. So
Yeah. Jameis
it'll,
Winston last week was, Alvin Kamara.
yeah,
That's what you do.
that's what you're supposed to do. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
this
Gotcha.
this all makes sense now.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he's reintegrated into all of that and into that New Orleans offense. So, is there any other trades that we need
No,
to know
I
about?
mean, I think that's the only one. I believe the trade deadline ends this week, so it may get interesting. It's either
it
this week or next
ends
week.
it ends the second, I believe.
Okay,
I
so
may be
two.
wrong about that.
Oh, guess
Wait,
who's looking
is it
that
the
up real
second,
quick?
fifth? It's sometime next week.
Yeah.
It's the first week in November, I believe.
Yep. There are rumors that Allen Robinson might get traded. While
If
they are
so,
just
your
rumors,
stock in Mooney goes way up.
yeah, I would say Stock and Robinson goes up.
Yeah, that too. Well, depending on where he goes,
Yeah,
it could be a Galladay situation where he goes to,
yeah,
a team that's already fairly loaded and he's not getting hardly anything.
yeah. You are correct. November 2nd is a trade deadline, so there's going to be
November
quite a
2nd.
few trade. I don't know how many trades specifically
Yeah.
because I really
I have
think
a feeling that our podcast is going to be, you know,
trade
busy
central
next
next week.
week with trade.
Yeah,
Yeah, with trades and everything.
I mean, we could talk a little bit about this. Who do you think? What team do you think needs to make a trade, and for who?
Oh shoot.
Because
Man, I'd
I
have
can
to do my
start this.
research.
I can
Yeah, I'd
start
have to
this
do some research
off.
on that.
I mean, there's a couple players that we're thinking are busts right now. That I mean, Allen Robinson. I think if you want to just get a solid, dependable receiver, go for it.
Yeah.
I think I mean, I told you this last week. I think the Ravens need to go for Marlon Mack. That's just my opinion
Yeah.
on it right now. Is that O line isn't good, but I mean, if you start watching the games, if you start seeing kind of the O line, there have been multiple plays. The O line does its job. The running back, for some reason, either can't hit the hole or misses the hole.
Hmm.
And at this point, like the Ravens just have to kind of just look at it. It's like, can we really win with Latavius Murray? Can we really win with Devonta Freeman? Or can we really win with Le'Veon Bell, whose cleats are made of concrete at this point? I don't know if you can. And the thing is you bring in Rashad Bateman, you bring in Sammy Watkins to help you not be one dimensional. But right now you're one dimensional because you lost J.K. and Gus Edwards. And
Yeah.
so I think right now Marlon Mack may be that 1 year rental that completely changes the offense. He's still a really good back. If any of the carries you've seen this year, like the torn Achilles, it has not stopped him.
Yeah.
So I think the Ravens need to make that move. I I will be so happy if that's the actual move. Ravens did sign some O line help. I don't think anyone's going to trade for O lineman. That's why I think they're looking at running back. But again, all speculation. That's just guesses by me. I got no knowledge of it. I'm dumb, but but that's kind of what I think the Ravens should do.
Hmm. That probably would help them in the run game.
Yeah,
Um,
because
Speaking of run game, another team that's kind of hurting right now is the Seahawks. With the absence
yep,
of Chris Carson and Russell Wilson. You know, I mean, Carson's on his way back, but he hasn't looked like he has in the past. He isn't as
yeah.
productive as he has been. So I
Actually,
don't
Marlon
know.
Mack over there would be good too.
Yeah, because Marlon Mack would add depth for one, and it would kind of take the pressure off of Chris Carson because they have a lot of running backs over there, a lot of mediocre running backs.
Okay,
Adding what?
we got some breaking news.
Tyrod's not playing.
No, it's not Tyrod. You as a Vikings fan are gonna like this. It looks like sounds like Cowboy breaking news according to Sleeper here. Sounds like the Cowboys are going to start Cooper Rush on Sunday Night Football. If so, huge break for Vikings. If that means Dak Prescott is out, oh boy. We may have just lost Ryan while I was reading that because he is just staring at me. Oh, yep, we did lose him. So I'll vamp a bit just so we get him back on. Yeah. Uh don't start any Cowboys players if Cooper Rush is playing. Um so looks like Dak Prescott is not playing.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The breaking news alert, according to Sleeper, is that it looks like the Cowboys are going to start Cooper Rush.
Really? Dak's
Yep.
not playing, huh?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it. And for everyone listening, we
Wow.
are recording
Okay.
this Friday morning. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
man. Well, I the Vikings are looking a little more promising this week.
looking a little more
I was
promising.
expecting it. I was
I
expecting it to, be a shootout between Kirk and Dak, and
I still see this being like a
Kirk's not
20.
winning. Yeah, I was like, Kirk's not winning that. But if the Vikings can keep it up and keep it competitive, I could see them winning, but they'd have to fight hard for it.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
they're a
seeing this
high.
game now as like a 23-17 game.
Yeah, yeah. The Vikings are gonna really rely on the run game now. They're not gonna have to pass as much. Um, I'm sure they'll still keep the Dallas offense is still going to keep their scheme, still going to keep their game
Yeah,
plan where they're just going to be tossing it around. But without Dak in the pocket, it's going to be interesting.
this could be a
So
big Zeke game.
yeah, yeah. All you Zeke owners, put it in the books. You might
All
have a
you
big
Dalvin
game
Cook
against the Vikings.
owners, have fun today. I jumped off
Yeah,
the Dalvin Cook train last week, as y'all saw.
and I jumped on. Ooh.
Uh,
So yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing him go. So
yeah,
I haven't had
so
Dalvin Cook in a fantasy league since his first year, and it was disappointing. So
yikes. So I mean that's kind of the big news right now. We will probably start getting some injury alerts
yeah,
as we are recording this right now. But that's probably the bigger news than anything that we have talked about yet is the potential of Dak Prescott missing.
yeah, yeah. That's I didn't even see that. So that must be brand spanking new.
That is brand
So
spanking new.
so in our fantasy league, there is a trade that went through 2 days ago
Oh my
that
god.
me and Josh have already discussed, and I've actually discussed with Michaela about this. She gave up Pittman, Michael Pittman, and Kadarius Toney for Tyler Boyd, Chase Claypool,
Claypool.
and a 2022 third round.
My God, is this a fleece?
It's a fleece. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
first off,
I
congrats to Jacob because that's
how do
highway
you
robbery.
how do you even pull that
How?
off? How do you even pull
How?
that off?
Maybe because
I don't
Kadarius Toney's
understand that.
hurt. Maybe because he's
Yeah,
hurt, but like Michael Pittman's his second year in the league. Kadarius Toney
yeah,
is a rookie this year. I mean,
yeah.
Claypool. As soon as they find a good quarterback, I think Claypool's going to be good.
Claypool's going to be good. That was a good trade, trading for Claypool, but Tyler Boyd, I don't I don't think Tyler Boyd is going to be
He is the
as
clear
big.
cut third option.
Yeah, he is. It's Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and then Tyler Boyd. So trading for a wide receiver 3, I don't think is was
No,
a good idea.
I mean,
Kadarius Toney has he's sky high with his potential,
yeah.
and Michael Pittman is looking like wide receiver 1 in Indianapolis right now. So it's it yeah, getting rid of those two guys.
What a
and
fleece.
and stinking Duran. Jacob is now has the
He
wide
has the
receiver core.
Yeah,
He
he has
has
the
the wide
receiver
receiver.
core.
He could get rid of all of his receivers or all of his starting receivers, top end receivers, and still be able to compete. Like he could get rid of
Yeah.
his number 1 and number 2 wide receivers and still be at the same level that everybody else is.
Alrighty, so let's start with
Crazy.
this. Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf, Scary Terry. Let's see what else. Devontae Adams, Devontae Parker, Mecole Hardman, Jacoby Myers, Van Jefferson. Now Kadarius Toney. Dude, like that's that's two
Yeah.
teams worth of great receivers.
Yeah. And
Good God.
and why he is not trading away some of these receivers to get running backs, young, productive running
He
backs.
doesn't need it
I
this
don't
year,
know.
though. He doesn't need
He
it this
doesn't need
year.
it this year. He doesn't need it this year. But for his future, he could trade away some of those running back or some of those wide receivers for good young running backs. Like
I just think at
my
this
dad,
point,
I'm telling you right now, my dad could use receivers right now. The
yeah,
only really good wide receiver he has is Adam Thielen. And
I need a
he has
receiver.
JT here.
I mean, he has and we haven't even talked about this. He has David Montgomery's been hurt, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so
But he's got Najee Harris and Jonathan Taylor. I guarantee you if he trades those at least 1 or 2 of those wide receivers or a wide receiver and a pick, he could get Najee. He could get him easily.
yeah. Well, let's see. Like, let's look at like Jacob's running backs. We see Leonard Fournette, Scudero Patterson, Khalil Herbert, and he has David Montgomery. Miles Sanders is hurt, but like his running backs are pretty much set too. I mean, David Montgomery's still kind of young.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders, we hope he escapes Philly at this point. Cordero Patterson, we'll see what happens there. That's probably 1 to 2 good years left. And then Leonard Fournette.
I don't think Trey Sermon isn't going to do anything.
But Leonard Fournette, though, like Leonard Fournette could be the mainstay as long as Brady's there.
I don't understand. I don't understand how he. I don't know how Leonard Fournette took that role from Rojo. Like they were a 1-2 punch last year, and both of them were very effective. And now it's like it's the Leonard Fournette show down in Tampa.
Yeah. So I mean, Rojo has always had his ups and downs.
Yeah,
that's probably the first thing. But we also have to remember how good Leonard Fournette is.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's fairly young. I mean, he's only got 4 years on him.
He just toiled away for 3 years in Jacksonville, or 2 years in Jacksonville for that matter. And so I think this is kind of like him fully realizing, oh yeah, he's He was the number one player in high school for a reason. He was one of the top running backs in his draft for a reason. And now we're just looking at it and seeing Jacksonville under the Tom Coughlin, Blake Bortles era just did not know how to use him whatsoever. And
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette's been very, very good.
Yeah. Man. Man, that trade
But
though.
that trade was a fleece.
That
That's
trade
that's
though. Yeah, she got released.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yep. All right. I mean, but let's see. But the funny thing is, as much as we say it's a fleece, Jacob's still 4-3. So we
Yeah.
will see what happens there. Standings though. Oh, look at me in last place. How fitting. Um, as far as this, I mean, your dad's 3-4. Is that a three? Has it been a 3-game win streak?
Oh yeah, he's on a 3-game win streak right now.
That was something you and I predicted because we were looking at it. It's like, look, he's fourth in the league in points.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, he just got really bad luck with people in the first 4 games, just one after another. People were going off against him.
Yeah.
And he had great production, but he had people going off.
Yeah, and
So
there's just nothing you can do about that.
yeah, I mean, shoot, look at his team: Josh Allen, Najee Harris, Jonathan Taylor, Adam Thielen, T. Higgins, Travis Kelsey, Elijah Mitchell, and
Singletary,
he's got yeah, and he's got Laviska Chenault, he's got Devonta Smith, which
Rondale
in the
Moore,
future that's going to be a good one. He's got a solid team. I mean, it'll be interesting, seeing him,
yeah, it will
I
be
guess,
interesting.
go through the next couple of years because, shoot, I mean, his running back stable right now with Najee Harris and Jonathan Taylor,
Yeah, I mean that you're set. You're set for
you're
at
you're
least five
set
years.
for years. You're set for years with those two.
Yeah,
So, I mean, with his picks, just go after wide receivers. Go after
yeah,
wide receivers and maybe pick up a running back or two.
and yeah,
But
I mean we'll see
he's
how the
got Josh Allen. Oh,
we'll
sorry.
see how the wide receiver room is for draft this year, but
Yeah. Yeah. I
that may
haven't
be
really
something
been
that's a
scouting too
trade.
much, but
That will all be in the in our off season episodes.
yeah. Yeah. We'll go over that in the off season
Yeah.
because we gotta do our research, man.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Dynasty football. You get to look into all the rookies.
Yeah. And so let's look at and oh
You look at some
how did
free agent pickups.
oh well I mean we can I for context for everybody I was trying to figure out how on earth Tyler scored 50 points already and then I totally forgot that he had Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
That will do it.
Yeah. So I know there was a lot of pickups this week.
Yeah.
A lot of people were very active. Um, Tyler picked up Khalif Raymond, which I think is good. He
Yeah,
dropped
that's a good
Quintez
one.
Cephas.
Uh
Khalif has kind of been
we
fairly
pay
consistent.
F's in the chat for Quintez Cephas.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And F's in the chat for me. Good Lord. I picked up Randall Cobb, intended on using him this week, was going to replace Cooks in my lineup, Brandon Cooks, in a flex spot, and neglected to. And Randall Cobb scored 2 touchdowns last night.
Look at all those points on the bench.
Yeah, love it. So, Brandon Cooks, you better show up this week. I need you to.
Ethan picked up Samaje Perine. I think that's a pretty good pickup right now. Really seems
Yeah.
like they're kind of going 1-2. Cincinnati's on a roll right now, so
Yeah. Yeah. And
man,
Alex picked up Cincy's defense.
I mean they're starting Mike White, one of those players.
but
Yeah,
dropped the Patriots. D
I would this week.
this week, yeah, but bench them. I mean, they've
Here's the thing.
they don't have very good uh, teams that they're going after
Yeah,
this.
I I mean you and I talked about this because I asked for help about, oh, do I put Damian Harris in or not?
Yeah,
But I mean, what have we known about the Chargers defense so far this year is that they're one of the worst teams at trying to stop the run.
yep,
Patriots are one of the best teams at running the ball. How do you stop an explosive passing offense? You run the ball until the clock hits zero, pretty much. I can see
yeah,
that being the game plan for New England, which keeps New England's defense rested. But it kind of running the ball like that puts the onus on the passing offense to be like, hey, for every drive you get, one, you're probably going to lose about 1 to 2 drives than you usually get.
yeah,
But two, you have to score a touchdown. There's no other way.
yeah,
So that's where I
yeah,
think the game can get very interesting. And so we'll have to see there. I could also see this being a big Keenan Allen game.
yeah, yeah, and Mike Williams too.
Yeah. So let's also see CJ Uzoma you picked up. I mean,
Yeah,
you might as well chase the points. They've really been using him as just the dagger almost.
I mean, I I believe I read something that he is like leading the league in tight end touchdowns
Well,
behind Dawson Knox.
he's had like 5 touchdowns in 4 games. It's been pretty
Yeah,
absurd. He had a
yeah,
huge day against the Ravens, but one of those plays, it was a miscommunication on the Ravens defense. It was just blown coverage, and then the other one, he just kind of
mm,
manhandled everybody.
yeah.
But they've really been using CJ Uzama as that
It's a red
dagger.
zone threat. Yeah,
Yeah, red zone threat because everyone's kind of keyed in on Jamar Chase. So, man, can we talk
yeah.
about how good Zach Taylor has been as coaching for the Bengals? Because I think he's done an outstanding job this year.
He's done a great job. He's really pulled that team together. And I know, like last year with the loss of Joe Burrow, they kind of fell apart a little bit. But you know, I kind of attribute this year's success to coaching on top of the return of Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
So it's kind of
Burrow
a mixture of those
and
two.
then they finally got the right pieces. I think more
Yeah,
and more Jamar Chase is more than worthy of that
yeah.
of the 5th pick. But even
Oh my
then, like
gosh, yeah.
they signed a bunch of people for the defense, and that's kind of changed things as well.
hmm Yeah, that defense is actually showing up, which is
Um,
taking a lot of pressure off of the offense.
oh yeah. You picked up the Minnesota kicker. May God rest your soul this week.
I
Um,
I did
you're
it.
panicking.
I did it. Okay, I asked my wife this. This is a I I was having trouble picking between two kickers. I can't remember which one the other kicker was, but it was late at night. We were getting ready for bed and all that, and I just asked her. I was like, I can't decide. Do I pick up the Minnesota kicker or this other kicker? She's like, go with your team. Go with Minnesota. I'm like, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you.
Oh, all right. Good luck there.
Yeah. She's
So
like, have I led you wrong? Like, yeah, a couple of times.
oh no. Oh, I could.
No, I ask her for
Someone
fantasy
slept on the
advice
couch.
sometimes.
That someone slept on the
No,
couch.
I ask her for fantasy advice sometimes, and she gives good advice. Surprisingly, I literally she knows nothing about fantasy football, but she's like, "You should go with this guy." I'm like, okay, cool. That guy goes off. So
You
hopefully,
know.
Greg Joseph has a good game.
Yeah. Continuing on, Alan Lazard, great pickup by your dad there, I will
Yeah.
say.
See,
Yeah,
dropping Ramondre Stevenson, I don't
that
think
that
was a good move.
that was the bad move.
I don't think that was a good move.
It's man, rookie running backs has been really weird this year.
Yeah.
And, but let's go through all these, and then I want to bring that point back up because it's been very almost anti what it's usually been. I had to pick up Greg's airline, Justin Tucker on bye, so yeah, I'm holding 2 kickers this week. You'll drop Justin Tucker. Alex picked up Tyler Conklin. Great pickup, honestly. I think that's a
Yep.
good one.
And
Uh,
Ashley picked up Fryermuth. I
Move.
think that's a good I think that's a good
That,
future pick.
that's a good future pick. She
Pickup.
does have Darren Waller. She has quite a few tight ends, but like they've all been either
Yeah.
hurt or just not playing. So it's a good little shot. And then
Yeah.
Jacksonville defense. I mean, Tommy Trembles really hasn't done much. No one on that Carolina offense has done much.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tyler picked up Ramondre Stevenson, dropped James White. Good move. Good move. Wow,
Yeah.
two claims. Ooh, Ethan put a claim in. Interesting. Um, and then the last one is me, which is I picked up David Johnson after the literally right before we recorded this this podcast.
I know.
Unfortunately,
I was sitting out there and I was sitting out in my living room and all of a sudden I got a ding on my phone and like, what did Josh Rickard do? What did he do?
at this point, literally like my entire bench is hurt, so I need people.
Yeah. And Devin Duvernay, I like him as a individual wide receiver, but not in that wide receiving core. Because there's, Rashad
There's
Bateman, Hollywood Brown,
Hollywood, Sammy Watkins
and
whenever
they've
he
got
gets
Mark
back.
Andrews.
Yeah.
So he's just a crowded core right now. If Duvernay was in another offense, I think he'd be probably a wide receiver too. But it's
Yeah,
just really crowded with talent. So
Duvernay right now is very touchdown dependent.
yeah. So he might be a good stash for next year. Who knows? He may impress over the off season, everything. But yeah, for now, I think he belongs on the waivers.
Yeah. So,
So
yeah, the point I wanted to bring up to you, so as we're switching gears here, it's rookie running backs this year have been very weird, minus Najee Harris.
yeah,
Everyone else has been super weird. Well, ETN out for the year, so that one we'll just let that one go. But uh I'm trying to that one's still painful actually. But like listening to Javonte Williams for some reason gets stuck in this 50-50 battle with Melvin Gordon.
yeah.
Michael Carter, first don't know how he hasn't really like wowed, somehow gets fantasy points.
Surprisingly,
Yeah, surprisingly. And then really I'm trying to think of Trey Sermon has been just an absolute disappointment. Ramondre Stevenson has been an absolute disappointment. Elijah Mitchell's been great,
well,
however.
Ramondre hasn't really gotten a chance. He's been
Yeah.
sitting behind Damian Harris. If Damian goes down, I think Ramondre would
They would have to play
he would
Ramondre.
dominate. But he would dominate. I think he would be very good.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's just
yeah,
been as really side note, but maybe something we have to kind of dive deeper into the off season. But that it's been
yeah.
a very weird year
Mm-hmm.
because at this point, I honestly
And
feel like
maybe. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say at this point, I feel like Javonte Williams should have that number one spot on lockdown. I think he's looked the best.
Yeah,
Wasn't necessarily right about my prediction that he would have a big running game last week. Thanks, Dearness Johnson had that game. Let me tell you. But he did get a receiving touchdown. So he had
and
a
he got a lot
really
of
nice.
targets too.
The
So
targets have been really nice to see.
yeah,
Honestly. So I think Javonte Williams is definitely on the rise, but man, he should have been RB1 long time ago. And that is
he
I
should have
blame the
been.
Broncos.
Yeah, it's the coaching right now. They're kind of stuck on Melvin Gordon. He's got a big contract there, so they're wanting to run him into the ground pretty much. But at some point, they're going to have to let him go and let Javante take over. So right now, Tyler's got him, and I'm kind of jealous. I wanted to trade him for him because I think Javante's got a lot of talent. You're the
Yeah.
one that kind of pointed him out to me in the off season, and watched some film and all of that, and he's got a lot of talent. He really does. So that, and a surprise for me, which uh, couldn't have been seen without David Johnson, or not David Johnson, David Montgomery going down,
Khalil Herbert.
is Khalil Herbert. Do you think, and I'm kind of making a prediction here, but I predict that Khalil Herbert might take over the backfield. Not completely, but he might take over David Johnson's position in the future.
Well, I mean, probably not David Johnson's,
Or not
just
David
because
Johnson.
they're not.
David Montgomery, dang it. Every time.
It
Sorry,
never
David
fails.
Montgomery.
Okay, so let's think of it this way. One, Khalil Herbert's pretty nice. He's good.
Yeah.
And I mean, he got 100 yards on the Tampa Bay defense. Like when you do that, that's where you have to go, whoa,
Yeah.
okay, something happened.
Yeah. And yeah,
He's
exactly.
doing good right now. And I think he's only going to get better the moment Matt Nagy leaves. That's really kind of I think that's kind of what I've deduced the entire Chicago Bears offense to. It's you're starting to see right now Matt Nagy got nothing. And
Mhm.
so I think it's not like it's not good at all. Like if Matt Nagy somehow survives this year and is still the Chicago Bears head coach, then we got issues. But he needs to go. I think everyone has seen that. Now, as far as Khalil Herbert, so remember what Chicago did in the beginning, and it was with Jordan Howard at the moment, but it was Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. Think of David Montgomery as your Jordan Howard, and think Tariq Cohen. No, think Khalil Herbert as your Tariq Cohen. But I do think it's
But
going to
is
be
that in
more of a
Khalil
1-2
Herbert's?
punch.
But is that in Khalil Herbert's wheelhouse?
I
Because
think
he
it,
seems like more of a downhill runner.
man. I think no matter what, that's still going to happen. Like I think they're still going to be together. Like
Yeah.
I don't think you want to lose David Montgomery, but Herbert looks good. And I think when you get, say they hire a new coach, they're like, cool, I got two running backs here. We can run with this until Justin Fields is ready to let it loose. I
Yeah.
can see them going like, man, you have a potential running threat team with Justin Fields, Khalil Herbert, and David Montgomery while you figure out receivers. So like that might be something to look at. It looks like your tight end is kind of set with Cole Kmet.
Mhm.
So like side note, this is what upsets me about the Chicago Bears offense. Justin Fields shouldn't be playing this bad, but I can't blame it at all because they're not using his talents whatsoever.
Yeah.
Matt
They're not.
Nagy got to get fired.
They're not basing the offense off of
Yeah,
him.
because when you have Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney as a 1-2, that's a great combo. Add Cole Kmet, great tight end. Now you have
Yeah.
two really good running backs in Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery. There is no reason why the Chicago Bears offense is bad. And
Yep.
it is because of someone on the headset.
Well, it's because of the coaching, play calling, everything on that end of the ball. They just it's like they can't get it together.
Yeah, at all. But to answer your question, I think it is going to be a 1-2 punch for sure. But
Yeah.
I also
So
think
you don't
that's
think that they'll try to trade David Johnson? Or David Montgomery. God dang it.
David. What's
David
his David?
Montgomery.
David. What's his name?
David M. David M. There you
David
go.
M.
I'm just gonna
I
call him Montgomery. He doesn't have a first name anymore.
sorry, David. It's revoked. So
It's
here's why
Mr.
I don't.
Montgomery from now
Yeah,
on.
it's Mr. Montgomery. Uh, Montgomery, David Montgomery. So I don't think they'll trade, and I think Carolina is proving this. I think I'm trying to think other teams have proved it. You need two running backs.
Yeah.
Like if one goes down, you need another one. And
Yeah.
that's what we're seeing. Well, I mean, the Ravens is the extreme example because you lose three. That doesn't happen every year, but like you
Yeah.
see going from CMC to Chuba Hubbard is not very like good, I would
It
say.
can ruin it
It
can
could
ruin a
ruin the
season.
season, and that's exactly what's
Yeah.
happened to Carolina. They haven't won a game
Yeah.
since CMC has gone down.
Yeah.
Well, since
And
CMC has officially just not played. And no offense to
Yeah,
Chuba Hubbard. Like, I think he's done admirably, which as far as rookie running backs, he's gotten a lot of work. He's been okay,
yeah.
but he's no CMC.
Which
And
like Mike Davis was a good like patch to fill that hole last year, but he didn't have near the production that CMC did.
yeah,
He didn't have near the impact on the offense
and that
that CMC
kills
did.
that
So
has killed the team because I mean, this is what
yeah,
something we talked about last week, I think, is that eventually you have to stop having your entire like team's hopes and like the
yeah,
offense stuck with CMC. And as great as
and
CMC is, and I know it's ride or die with him, but at some point you have DJ Moore, you have Robbie Anderson, you have Terrence Marshall
yeah,
Jr. Like that, that's good enough to win you a couple games to where
well,
it's like, hey, if either CMC is not out there, like we can win with them. So I think they have to adjust a little bit. Um, but that's where I feel like Chicago won't give up one of those players.
yeah,
And it's because they're realizing now it's like, hey, imagine if we had a good head coach and a good offense. We can work with two running backs. And that's great to know
mhm,
that you have that depth. And I mean, even on top of that, going from Andy Dalton to Justin Fields, for example, you have that depth. All the
yeah.
best teams right now need depth because you're one injury away from having your season destroyed. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, and I mean, look at the Browns. They've got two solid running backs that if one went down, the other could compensate for it, or
they
they
have
have a stable of running backs behind them that are able to.
the
And
Browns is the
on the
perfect example.
opposites, yeah, yeah, and on the opposite side of that, look at what we discussed earlier, the Seahawks, where they have a lot of mediocre backup running backs. And honestly, like Chris Carson is a good starting running back,
But your number two's not that good.
but
Well,
the
I
number
mean,
two is
yeah,
not good.
which I
Like
will say, Alex Collins
Alex
has been
Collins,
good, but he's also
he's
hurt.
been all right. He's been all right. He's had one good game out of the three that he's started. So it's you need that depth. And I do understand that, when it comes to Chicago and holding on to, David Montgomery. So I was just putting that option out there, if because there's a lot of teams that are in need of a very good running back, a proven starter. So putting that out there
It would have to be something
may be
extreme.
beneficial. Yeah, may be
Like,
beneficial for them. Just like with, the Marlon Mack trade,
yeah,
that might maybe go down in the next couple of
yeah.
days.
But the
Who
reason
knows?
why I think the Marlon Mack trade is different than the Khalil Herbert is that one, David Montgomery is hurt. I think that kind of goes without saying. You can't just trade him now.
Yeah.
And especially with the trade deadline coming up November 2nd, it's probably not a good idea. But on
No,
top of that,
no.
Khalil Herbert is a rookie. So you have him under the rookie contract. So
Yeah.
that also helps. That kind of keeps it cheap. So at least you have two good backs there. Marlon Mack is like he's done his rookie contract already. Like
Yeah.
he's going to be wanting a new deal. Like no matter what, like he's going to be probably leaving this year, especially because how the team is like, hey, we like Naeem Hines and we like they just signed Naeem
JT.
Hines and JT. JT was drafted high in the second round last year.
Yeah.
So it was inevitable.
He's not leaving.
Yeah. And it's inevitable that Marlon Mack is leaving. That's why to me, that's why he's the trade target.
Yeah.
So overall, that's why that's why I think Marlon Mack is the only trade target here. With Khalil
Mhm.
Herbert and with Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery. I almost did. I almost messed it up there. But at this point with how the season has been, you kind of need to keep both unless some team just the unless some team had acquired the mind of Bill O'Brien and said, "Hey, we're going to give a first round pick for Khalil
Yeah.
Herbert," but no one's going to do that, honestly.
No, no,
So that's
not
why
with
I
not
don't
with
think
only
it's
a
worth
couple
it.
weeks under his belt.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't think it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
Man. So
So let's go ahead and move on to some of these matchups this week. What are we going to expect
you
from
were about to
certain
destroy
matchups?
Philip though.
Oh, I was talking to NFL matchups,
Oh, NFL
but
matchup. Sorry.
yeah, no, we'll go to the league first. We'll go to the league first. I am currently, for those of you that are watching this podcast, I don't know if I will, but I'm currently projected to beat the guy that is last in our league right now. Projected to win 180 to 127. So yeah, yeah, he's got a 5% chance of winning right now. It'll
Yeah,
be
that's by
it'll
far
be
the
interesting.
biggest discrepancy.
But he does have Derrick Henry, so we can't rule
Literally
him out.
the only thing that keeps him alive in matchups
Literally,
is
it is the wild card is Derrick Henry, and trust me, I made trades for Derrick Henry. I I tried. I sent him like 3 or 4 trade requests involving CMC, um, DeAndre Swift. I had a ton of trade requests in just to get Derrick Henry, and he wasn't biting on any of it. So, unfortunately, but yeah, so I'm projected to win that matchup. What about you, man?
oh, I am facing Alex this week. I'm projected to lose by 15 or something like that. It's not too bad. I mean, two players go off. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, but we kind of already have talked about my team. Like, I'm really just waiting on CMC to come back. AJ Brown has he has come and saved my season. Honestly, at this point, I'm also starting Carson Wentz right now. Like literally, I drafted five
Yeah.
quarterbacks, and
All of them have kind
they're
of crapped
working.
out on you.
Yeah, a bit. Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. We're just
Yeah.
not ready yet early in the year, but Carson Wentz has played really good.
Yeah.
Um, this is going to be painful looking at Tony Pollard and realizing I could have had him. Because it's yeah, that's painful. We said this was a fleece, and then Gus Edwards tears his ACL 3 days later. Um, Overall, I mean, my receivers are kind of hurt. I've basically said I am not starting any Chicago skill player at this point besides Khalil Herbert.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am not starting Mooney. Definitely not starting Ayuk. I started Ayuk last week. That ended up in failure. What's wild is eventually Ayuk has like he's just in the I don't know. He did some Shanahanigans and for some reason is in the doghouse. Um, but otherwise,
Oh,
I'm feeling pretty good because it's not like the worst thing. I'll take a look at my matchup real quick. Wentz, Gibson, Carter, Woods, AJ Brown, Dalton Schultz. But I mean, Jalen Waddle can take off this week. Who knows? Diggs could take off. But he's starting. Oh, actually, the big news. I just realized with Alex's team, I forgot he has Dak. Oh, okay. So, oh wait. So who's
so
his
we'll
backup?
see if he moves him.
His backup court. He has Kirk Cousins and Tannehill.
Okay. Cousins
So
could have a big game.
I can see
I don't think
Tannehill
Tannehill
can.
will.
I can see Tannehill having a big game because they're not.
Maybe a big game for Tannehill is like 20 points.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So
asking for a
I
friend
see
Burrow
him.
or asking for a friend Burrow or Tannehill starting this week.
Who's Burrow playing again?
Jets.
I want to say Burrow, but shoot, man, that's so rough.
Yep. Yeah. No, I'm having this issue right now in
Oh
another
my
league,
gosh. I want to say Burrow just
but
because
that
it
game
is
could
against
get
the
over
Jets.
quick.
Yeah, I mean Joe Mixon is going to have a great game, but shoot, I don't know.
We'll talk later on
That's so
that.
difficult.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but besides that, actually it looks like Ashley is playing um Jacob Duran. I think that game's gonna look good. Aaron Rodgers kind of saved his matchup a bit. Tyler against Michaela, I think that game can get over pretty quick, especially with how Aaron Jones played. That kind of jumps everything. Probably the best matchup this week, and I do want to see how this follows. Ethan versus your dad. That's going to be
Yeah.
a fun one.
I want to see, honestly, I want to see my dad go to 500 and
I think he
beat
will.
Ethan. I would love to see that. It's just I don't know. I just don't know. I think if his running backs, my dad's running backs go off, then yeah. But he's just got too many wild cards with Cup and with Chubb, Mike Williams, Ridley, all of them. Like he's got a tough lineup.
Yeah, he
And my
does.
dad is uh
He can do it. Like I
I don't
think
know.
your dad's projected to win by 4 points right now, roughly. And
See,
if you
okay.
want more news, Kadarius Tony participating in drills for the first time this week.
Okay.
He
So he
might
may be
play.
back next week.
He may be back. And if he is, please, in other leagues.
Okay, question. In a flex spot, Devin Singletary or Damian Williams or Daryl Williams. Sorry,
Oh, okay. I was about to say it's like that
Daryl
question's
Williams.
easy. So Darrell Williams plays the Giants, right? It's Chiefs Giants this week, Monday Night
Yep,
Football. Ooh, and then the other option was Devin Singletary.
Devin Singletary against Miami.
Oh.
See, I think Zach Moss is going to be picking up most of those
Zach
carries.
Moss is usually picking up the targets. I can also see that
Mm,
game being over early. Oh, but it wasn't the last time. It wasn't Tua playing though, right?
maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think Tua was playing, so it was week 2.
Oh no, that might be the game he got hurt in. Oh, that's great podcasting here. Just dead silence. But
Dead silence. Love it.
man,
I try to give some advice to my dad on his lineup. Last time I gave him advice, though, I told him to sit uh, Daryl Williams, and that's when he got his like 28-point
man. So
game.
he so this
It
is
was a good
where
thing he won, so I was like, I didn't feel as bad.
yeah.
Uh,
So man, I'm leaning towards Darrell Williams right now, and here's why.
yeah, well, he's projected 17 points.
Yeah, well,
Singletary is only projected 11.
yeah. I mean Singletary, you're just dealing with Zach Moss there. But
Mm,
Darrell Williams. I mean, Jared McKinnon hasn't really proven to be a factor, even with CEH out.
yeah,
Darrell Williams, I think, is going to get a lot of receiving work. I
yeah.
can see this game being over very quickly, though, because after the shellacking Kansas City just took from Tennessee,
They're probably going to be
one,
hungry for a win.
yeah, but I mean, it's a wake up call. I mean,
Yeah,
look at how the AFC is right now. Cincinnati is the number one seed. You have like 85 teams that are ranked at 5-2, like
yeah,
Cincy, Buffalo, Tennessee, Baltimore, um, 4-3. Cleveland is 4-3. Oh, um, the Chargers are 4-2. The Raiders are 5-2, I think, and it's like
Yeah,
If
Cincy,
this
Las
ain't
Vegas, Tennessee, and Kansas City is all the
Kansas
way down with the Broncos and the Colts,
at what at 3-4, 3-3.
3-4.
Yeah, they're 3-4 right now. Like if that's not your wake up call, then what is it going to be? And you usually
Yeah,
take it out on the first opponent. I can totally see this game being over by beginning second quarter because it's just an onslaught.
yeah, because they're
But
ranked 11th in the AFC right now.
yeah, like here's the thing. Kansas City is a good team. Their defense has to figure it out. They've been
Yeah.
atrocious this year. But I mean, you're
Mhm.
kind of seeing Mahomes. I think there's something wrong with his toe. Uh, I mean, Chris Sims for NBC has kind of been saying that from the get go, like something doesn't look right. This past game definitely showed that. Um, but you gotta get Tyreek Hill involved. You gotta get Kelsey involved. Who would have thought losing Sammy Watkins would be the linchpin?
Yeah, no joke.
But that's what you and I were saying. That's probably why they signed Josh Gordon in the first place,
Hmm.
was to be that number two. So any moment now, that could be very interesting. But I think Kansas City might run it up this week and give everyone a reminder. Hey, we
Yeah,
have Patrick
there's a
Mahomes.
decent chance. Yeah, I may do that.
I would go Daryl Williams.
Okay. I'll message my dad and let him know. Because I mean it would help him out if shoot. I just don't I'm hesitant to give him advice because last time it went so bad.
Well,
But
that's oh man, but that's the funniest part about
yeah.
fantasy. Like
But
literally,
I really want him to smoke Ethan.
look, Ethan's at 5-2 solely for two reasons. One, Darrell Henderson has been as good as advertised, and two,
Yeah.
Cooper Cup has been way better than advertised, and Mike
Yeah.
Williams finally remembered how to play football like at Clemson.
Man, I I didn't think that Darrell Henderson would be as effective as he is this year.
I will tell you right now, this gets me excited for Cam Akers next year.
But I've also heard rumors that they're not like they're going to put Cam Akers behind Darrell Henderson
Wouldn't be surprised, honestly, just
be-
because
because
Cam
of his
Akers.
production.
Well, yeah, Cam Akers also got hurt last year.
Yeah.
Like he's missed games. So I think regardless, it's going to be that two workhorse back, but they're both really good. And I think it's going to be Darrell Henderson to start to get Cam Akers like integrated in.
Hmm.
So that doesn't surprise me one bit. Their situation isn't like Baltimore. It's like, hey guys, welcome to our brand new running core that was all hurt last year.
Yeah,
But I
but
mean,
it'll be interesting to watch.
yeah. So I mean,
So
those are all the fancy matchups.
yeah, those are the
What
fantasy matchups.
games are you looking forward to this year? I mean, not this year, this week.
The games are you looking forward to this year?
Yeah,
Honestly, the biggest one for me is the Vikings game. I'm a fan, obviously, but I also live in Dallas. So to see my team whoop on the good old Cowgirls would be awesome because I have a lot of friends that are Cowboys
yeah,
fans,
yeah.
and I love rubbing it in their face whenever we win over them. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm also having a watch party, so I'm gonna have all those Cowboys friends or Cowboys fan friends over.
good
So
luck,
hopefully I'll be able to do it. So hopefully I'll be able to do it in person.
man. Let's
So
just say a good one. I mean, I'm looking at a good game was last night, Packers Cardinals. That was
yeah,
insane. But as far as games I'm looking forward to,
Mhm.
Steelers Browns can get very
I
interesting.
Yeah, I just saw that Steelers Browns. Um, that's going to be interesting. They're still down Hunt. It looks like Mayfield's coming back this week,
And man, we
so
got
the
DeAndre
Browns might
Strong.
be at
Well, it looks like
near full strength.
yeah,
So
Chubb will be back. Demetric Felton's still probably going to take over there, but man, did
yeah,
Dearness Johnson earn some reps?
he did. He definitely earned his place on the squad. He's going to be stashed away.
Yep.
Because if Chubb gets hurt again, he's the handcuff. He's the
Yep.
handcuff you gotta get. Um,
Bruce Arians says
and
Antonio Brown is out Sunday.
yeah, he was listed as doubtful.
Yeah.
That just ups Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yep.
They're going to get a lot more target share. So
Another
another.
Titans
Oh, go
Colts
ahead.
is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I predict that Derrick Henry is going to run all over them, up and
Yeah,
down that field.
I can see that one. I think
I
AJ.
predict it every week, though.
Yeah, that's not a prediction. Actually, to be honest, I think you'll get a couple touchdowns, but I
Yeah,
think and there's going to be moments where you're going to have to throw it to AJ Brown.
yeah.
Besides that, Patriots Chargers looks pretty interesting. I mean,
You know what? Oh, sorry. Good.
I was gonna say Patriots Chargers. At some point, Patriots gonna have to and we've been saying this entire time. They're gonna have to let Mac Jones let it
Yeah,
loose, and I think the perfect game to do that.
yeah. And I am predicting an upset over the Chargers. The
Really?
Patriots are going to beat them in San Diego.
Wow.
So,
Well, I would be shocked if it's San Diego, considering the Chargers are in
oh
LA.
my God, LA. Good Lord. And
Good morning,
I'm having a
Ryan.
rough morning. All right. I'm having a rough morning.
Good
No,
morning.
but they are going to beat the Chargers on their home turf. So,
I can see that game being 17-14, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
it's going to be a low scoring game. So, those with Chargers wide receivers, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, be aware of that.
Yeah, be aware.
No, the Patriots defense has not been friendly to passing heavy offenses this year.
No,
So another one, I think that the Lions are going to get their first win this week
who do they play? They play
over the Eagles.
Eagles. Oh yeah, I want Dan Campbell to get that win now.
Yeah, I think they're
Eagle-
going to get that. I think
E-
Jared Goff is going to lead them, and DeAndre Swift is going to seal the victory.
Dan
So
Campbell coached an incredible game last week. They just did not have the talent
yeah,
to pull it off.
and
But
see the
like
Lions have
they've been
they
good in
they
almost
have a
every game.
fairly like good squad, but it's a close game every single game that they've
They,
had.
in my opinion, they have no business being this competitive in games. But
Yeah,
I give a lot of credit to Dan Campbell there.
yeah. Like the Vikings barely beat them a couple weeks ago. Barely beat them. They
It it
struggled
it took
hardcore.
it took a Justin Tucker league record to beat for the
Yeah,
Ravens to beat them.
yeah. So they're very competitive. Surprisingly, they do not play like an 0-7 team.
Not
So
at all. I
it's
agree with you. I think that's going to be
yeah.
that
So
that's going to be
I don't think that the 2-5 Eagles are going to be able to pull it off. So I think that the Lions get their first win this week, which will be good for them.
Yep, I agree with you there.
All right. Anything else? You got
No,
Washington Broncos, Bucks and Saints. That's another good one.
would be interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
don't really
mean,
have any predictions for this.
Mark Ingram will be playing for the Saints, so but I mean, Bucks have
No,
won.
because
They've
he's got to
already
go through COVID protocol and everything.
well, they said Sean Payne's already said he's going to play. So that may
He's got
mean
to go through like a 2 week quarantine with the
Not
COVID protocol.
is that what COVID protocol is?
It's
Oh,
like a two-week quarantine. Whenever an individual gets traded, it's a 2-week quarantine.
well, let's.
That's what I thought. Or they have
So
to have a ton of like different negative tests. But I don't. I mean, I don't think if they get traded 3 days before the
well, it is
week.
different this year. This year, I think it just has to be negative tests.
Okay.
Let's see.
Because I heard something about two consecutive negative tests within either 24 or 48 hours of each other.
So I am currently looking through Twitter to figure out
Yeah.
what's going on there. Uh, oh, looks like Corey Davis isn't playing. Um, sorry, I am going down the Twitter thread. Great podcasting. I'm currently figuring this out. Do. Okay, all right. So here it is. Here it is. According to at Slater NFL, which is Jane Slater, Saints head coach Sean Payton on Mark Ingram. With a player like him, hard to gauge if a team has any interest. He and GM Mickey Loomis talked about it in Seattle, and they made the call. Any chance we see him this weekend? Payton says, absolutely.
And who is this regarding?
Mark Ingram.
Okay. Okay.
I think the COVID
Be
protocol you're
interesting.
thinking of is last year.
We're last year. Okay.
Yeah, because I know when the Ravens traded for Yannick Ngakoue, that had to be the case, but that's why they traded for him on their bye week. So you have the bye week and then the week leading to the game. So, nope, we lost Ryan again. So we're gonna wait for him here. Otherwise, I mean, congrats to everyone who made it through Bipocalypse. Week 8 sure looks to be fun as well. I will tell you, in other leagues, I am trying my best to stay afloat. But let's see if we can get Ryan on. I know it's Strugglesville. It's a little bit better. At least it didn't fully cut out here. I'm just kind of vamping by myself at this point, but it's all right. It's fantasy football. So let's talk about. We could talk about a couple other things. Oh wait, he is back. So Mark Ingram is 100% playing. I don't know. That's probably taking over the backup role because obviously Kamara is still tops, but otherwise, those are all the games that we're interested in?
I believe so.
All right.
That's everything that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Who's on bye week this next week?
Raiders and
Ravens.
So
Raiders and Ravens.
Yeah, I'm kind of currently figuring out Darren Waller at the moment. But we'll see. But in the meantime, thank you all again for watching. Probably we were all over the place, but there was a lot of NFL news and a lot of different matchups and scenarios we wanted to get through. So we all thank you for enjoying the ride that is the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. If you're wondering about, we had some issues trying to get all the episodes and podcasts up on YouTube with regarding the last couple of weeks. So now they should all be on YouTube right now. If you want to catch up on what we said, some of the past weeks. I am Josh. I will also speak for Ryan because he is just a red block with the letter R in the middle, like it's the scarlet letter. But in the meantime, you know where to find us on Sleeper. You know where to find us on YouTube, Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. And we will see y'all next week.